Welcome to another installment of Between Two Earnings Calls. And in this episode, we're going to discuss Google Gemini's analysis of my job search in 2025. I think there's some really good data. And I think if you're someone looking for a job or interested in the job market, you can get a lot of really good insights from this deck. And to give a quick caveat, what we intend to do is provide a deeper dive of this data in the coming weeks. So starting with the summary, over the past 3 years, what we have found based on Google Gemini analysis is days to rejection in the investor relations market each year, 23, 24, 25, has declined by 50%. At the same time, my personal days to rejection have increased 50%, which means my candidacy has been improving in quality and strength while the market continues to deteriorate and become more and more difficult. I'm yielding about 7% plus on blind internet applications, meaning conversions and just getting the conversations. And then what Gemini did is it built an alpha score for my application in 2025, and we looked at it on a quarterly basis. I bottomed at 0.8 in the second quarter, underperforming badly, and I'm now at 2.6 in the fourth quarter of 25, which is a significant improvement. So despite applying to a lot of jobs and no job yet, I'm actually significantly outperforming the market, and the data illustrates just how difficult it is to get a job. Now, the key secret sauce item in this mix is Google Gemini, is the catalyst for the change over time. So let's get into some of the data. So on this slide, we look at the alpha score by quarter. And essentially, the alpha score is measuring the length of time you're in the funnel versus the expected market survival time in the funnel for that role. As you can see in the second quarter, I severely underperformed the market. I was at 80% of baseline. Whereas in the fourth quarter, I did 160% better than the baseline candidate. And what you're seeing here is you can see it, applicants are relatively stable, third quarter a lot less, but you look at the days to rejection. I've gotten into the very far end of the sweet spot for where applicants want to be. That 15 to 30 day window means that your resume is working really well. So now let's look at, over the past 3 years. What you can see here is the market has become leaner over the last 36 months. In 23, the average day to rejection was about 33. In 2025, we're down to 17. And this is a highly volatile market, and really it's driven by the year of the tariff. And because of the disruption we've seen, the starts and stops around tariffs, rejections became fast and brutal. Now, let's look at the performance of what Gemini has done for our job score. This is where we look at resilience score and sort of this alpha score over time on a grid. And we're summarizing here. And the idea is that by starting to use Google Gemini in the third quarter, my application has become not only stickier and higher quality, but Gemini has helped me eliminate fast rejections. And you can see it here in the data. Where we were top finalists in the first half of 25, there's maybe one role. And in the fourth quarter of 25, we're at 5. That's a 500% improvement. And then you look at the bottom right, the volume trap, meaning really low quality opportunities where I underperformed. We've cut the underperformance that has improved by 73%. This is really good outcomes given bringing Google Gemini to bear on the job search process. So let's get to the appendix, which gives some of the detail behind these calculations. And when you think of resilience score, it's very simple. It's just your days to rejection times the applicant count over 100. The higher the number, the better you're doing. The lower the number means you need a lot of work. Now you look at alpha score, and Gemini needs to help you with this, but the idea is you take your actual days to rejection over the expected market days to rejection for the volume associated with the role. So there's a little bit of mathematics done in the background that I'm not doing myself, but it's a very insightful metric to understand how you're doing in the job search. Now, what's interesting here is this is the grid that Gemini uses to drive these analyses. And the idea is, for a high applicant volume, 200 plus, a low DTR is 1 to 7, a high DTR is 20 plus. And we see, if you're 1 to 7 days, it's noise. You're likely filtered out by an ATS or a recruiter. If you're high volume, high DTR, you beat a lot of applicants, you made a short list. Now, if it's low applicant volume, 50 or less, again, low is 1 to 7, on DTR, high is 20 plus. And in those low with a high 20 plus, like if you're getting 20 plus DTR, you're this Coke Pepsi comparison between 2 or 3 candidates. You're doing really well. So now let's look at the last part here, which is general guidelines for how you're performing on the ATS when you're applying for jobs. If you're getting a rejection in 0 to 2 days post submission, that's an ATS failure. 3 to 7 days, that means it's a human screen, quick no. 8 to 14 days is you're kind of in that borderline space. Maybe you got a secondary review. And then in 15 to 30 days, that is your sweet spot. 15 to 30 days mean you are a finalist and you are competing at the highest levels against whoever else applied for that role. Now, this 30-day window, this 15-day window can lengthen if you were recommended to a job, you did an interview for a job. That window might be 50 days, it might be 60 days, it might be longer. And so consider that. You need to consider the detail behind the opportunity to further understand the days to rejection. And lastly, if it's a 50 plus rejection, think 90, 100 days, that's a system purge. They forgot to reject you. So with all this data, just remember Google Gemini can really optimize and help you improve your job search. Thanks for watching.